This is Counterpoint, and I'm Tanya Granick-Allen. It's that special time of the week when we have our current events panel with us. We are going to unpack the recent terrorist attack in Israel, Canadians who died in that attack, and shockingly, some of the pro-Hamas rallies taking place, as well as the controversial responses to the Hamas attack. We'll cover the latest Supreme Court decision over the Impact Assessment Act, known previously as C-69. We'll also dive into the RCMP announcement that they are launching a criminal investigation into the Ontario government over the Greenbelt land and development. So many issues, never enough time, so let's get right to it. Joining us is Elliot Hughes, Senior Advisor Summa Strategies, and political commentator Hannah Salamon-Vegh. Thank you both again for joining me. Let's jump right in. Obviously, it's been a shocking and devastating week, understatement, of what has gone on in Israel and what's basically the whole area is it's just exploding. And nobody saw this coming, or at least I certainly didn't. Let's talk about that, Elliot, first. What do we know? What happened?
Well, about a week ago, a little over a week ago, Hamas launched, an absolutely brutal terrorist attack into Israel, killing, I think, close to 1,400 Israelis, all told now, and has unleashed, this new level of violence and instability in a region that I think a lot of people had almost, in a way, put on the back burner in their minds because of the war in Ukraine. And while there was, some issues over the last several years and months, particularly in Israel, around judicial reforms led by the Netanyahu government there, I don't think people thought about it as much in the sense of perhaps historically, which is sort of in this, warlike way. And that I think was shaken to its core. And now we face a situation whereby multiple countries are involved potentially. The US is now distracted in a significant way. You've got Iran back in the picture. And really, this horrific act has thrust the region back into the spotlight. And it's forcing countries like Canada and like US and many countries around the world to rethink and react to the events taking place in the region, which were I've said it before, but absolutely horrific and just hard to imagine.
Yeah, when I woke up that day, I kind of got that sense of when the 9/11 attack happened. It was like, oh my gosh, it was so jarring. Obviously there is a large Jewish diaspora here in Canada. Hannah, what do you know about how the Canadian Jewish community is handling? There are some Canadian Jewish victims, Israeli victims in this attack.
There's a tremendous amount of fear right now in the Canadian Jewish community. I have a lot of Jewish friends, and many kids have had to stay home from school. There have been threats at some Jewish schools in Toronto. 3 people were arrested. I know a lot of people are afraid to even go out and about right now because of the pro-Hamas rallies that are happening, and around the world we're seeing, like in Australia, certain places in Canada, on these rallies they're calling for the death of Jewish people, for the genocide of Jewish people. So we're seeing not only condemnation of what happened with Hamas in Israel, but we're seeing a lot of people around the world who are in support of this. And this is quite shocking because there were no rallies in support of the Taliban after 9/11, but times have changed. And I think a combination of radical Islam ideology combined with a lot of left-wing activism on campus has provided a really interesting, I think, dangerous combination.
Well, let's talk about some of that left-wing activism. York University, which enjoys a very large Jewish population, their student union came over with a statement of solidarity with almost defending what Hamas was saying. It was quite absurd. It even invoked the horror of some federal members of parliament. Did you catch what was said there, Elliot?
I didn't catch that specific statement, but I have seen some of the reactions from various groups across the country, if we're thinking about Canada in this instance. And this is a really difficult situation in a lot of ways, and you've got to really tread carefully here. I think the problem that the Israeli population in Canada, Jews in Canada see is
actually, Elliot,
there was almost no.
Hold just 1 second. I got to cut to commercial break. We'll be right back.
Okay.